No, I did not fall off the face of the earth. I wish I did. Not really. Yes, it's been an alarming amount of time since I've made a YouTube video, but here I am, and that is what is important. Today, there is a hair on my microphone. No. Today, I'm going to be telling the story of something that happened to me when I was in a convention in Seattle. So, if you know me at all, you know that I'm really into broadcast journalism, and I really like filming and editing and working in news and stuff like that. Obviously why I have a YouTube channel, etc., whatever. I went to this convention called STN, Student Television Network, back in March in Seattle for our broadcast team at the high school that I go to. I'm going to be telling like a couple stories that happened in the convention, but the most important story is the story about when we went to the park. Pretty much everybody I know knows the story, and they all make fun of me and whatever, so I was like, I'm gonna broadcast it to the world. So we had just gotten in from our flight, and our flight was like 3 hours, and it was like 8 o'clock in the morning. We didn't check into our hotel until 10 p.m. that night, so we had the whole entire day to just literally do stuff. So we decided we're gonna go to the Space Needle. Well, once we go to the Space Needle, keep in mind, by the way, not to interrupt my own story, but my mom is a chaperone. She is with me in Seattle, and this kind of comes into play later when we talk about what actually happened. We decided to go to the Space Needle. Well, not everybody has all their money because all their bags and stuff like that were at the hotel. So we're like, well, there's a park like right behind the Space Needle we could go chill at. We decided to go over to this park. And keep in mind, there's like 25 of us total. There's like a certain number of kids from my school and then a certain number of kids from the rivalry school. Why did I say it so weird? We were having a lot of fun, okay? It was like a jungle gym and we were playing, and I was wearing like complete sweats. I was wearing like my cute little Skechers, Adidas sweatpants, and like a sweatshirt. So I was like really hot, and we were playing on this playground. There were a bunch of little kids there, but we were having a blast. And then we decided that we were going to go to the swing set area. There's like this one big swing, and you have to like buckle down into it. And the buckle part is like, I don't know, I wouldn't say like attached, but it's like metal. It's like a really strong magnet. I'm now realizing how stupid I am for swinging in this. Oh my goodness. So we decide to like go very, very high. So I see them, and they're like pushing each other, and they're like, you know, almost breaking the whole swing set because this thing is so big and you're obviously not supposed to go that high. And you know all those like stories where you're like doing something stupid and somebody's like, please don't do that, you're going to get hurt, and you're like, I'm not gonna get hurt. And most times you don't get hurt. Well, this was one of those times where I should have listened to everybody. I'm like, yo, can I get a push? Then somebody pushes me like really hard, and I'm like starting to go, okay. And then all of a sudden, this happens.
Oh yeah, they gotta learn.
Boys
Yeah, I know. It's terrible. Let me give you the rundown of what happened. I'm swinging, okay? I'm going perfectly fine. And then I look over and I see my mom, and she's sitting on this bench because she's a chaperone, like I mentioned before, and she has her phone out. And I like go to wave to the camera, and then like right when I look over, I start to feel this harness like lift up, and I'm like, oh shit. And it's like lifting up, and I'm like going with it because I'm like, I don't want to like break my neck. And then it like literally gets caught right here, and then bam, I just get like smacked on the ground. I mean, you saw in the video. Let's just play it one more time. Bam. It was very embarrassing because a lot of people were like laughing at me, but then there was like also like moms and like parents are like, is she okay though? I got like the wind knocked out of me, and I was like laying on the ground. I like didn't really understand what was going on because my throat hurt so bad. And like, I don't know what it was, but like the ringing in my throat that's like normally like supposed to like vibrate a little was like vibrating like crazy. My voice literally sounded like a little boy for the rest of the day. I had the worst throat pain. I had to like put an ice pack on my throat. And I mean, like, I literally could have died. I know that sounds like very dramatic, and I'm making a dramatic situation out of like something funny that happened at the park, but like, I could have gotten hanged. What had happened was, if I had kept looking at my mom, I probably would have snapped my neck. I decided to look back forward, and I caught myself with my feet before that happened. But seriously, that 1 second difference literally saved my life. I'm just happy that my mom got a video. That was the first day, and yes, my voice was completely ruined. And the funny part about it is the next day I actually had to do what's called like anchor team, and I needed like a strong voice for it, and I just didn't have it. My voice was messed up. The next story that I have from Seattle is a really, really good one, but it's kind of heartbreaking at the same time. We were on what's called like a supervised edit schedule, so which basically means that you have a certain amount of time to film, and then your edit room opens at a certain time. You have 15 minutes to get there, and then you have a total of 3 hours or 2.5 hours to complete your editing. And it's like, oh my gosh, that's a lot. No, it is not a lot at all. It's so rushed, it's so fast, and it's just it's hard to put a whole production together in 6 hours. It's terrible. It's a lot of fun, don't get me wrong, a lot of fun, but it's definitely hard. Me and my best friend from broadcast, Chance Jeffrey, are doing what's called a spot feature together. The day before at the park, Chance had talked to this guy named Fido. He only had a first name, he had no last name, and that's actually what we ended up doing our whole story over. So he had met this guy at the park, and he was talking about him, and he was a street performer, and he used to be into drugs and all this stuff, and then he found a new purpose for life, and it was a really beautiful story. I was like, that's so perfect. So we go on what's called a monorail, and I'm sure everybody already knows what a monorail is. They don't have them where I live, so I feel the need to explain it. It's like a train in the sky, basically. So we take this to the park, and we're like, maybe he'll be there at the same day, because he said he had goes to that area every day. And I was like, I don't know, it's kind of weird. We're in a city we don't know. We're around a bunch of people that we don't know. We're going to meet a person we don't know. And I feel a little weird about it. But he's like, it's completely fine. We're going to be fine. And yes, we were fine. It's not one of those stories. Someone is home and opening the garage door, so I'm going to wait for that. Okay, we look in the spot, the guy's not there. And Chance is like, I have his number, I'm gonna call him. And I'm like, OMG, you have his number? That's a little creepy, but we'll go with it. Chance calls him up, and he's like, hey, you guys can come over to my place, we can do the interview here, all this stuff. And I'm like, yo, I don't mean to be rude or nothing, but I'm alone in a city with one other person that I know, and there's nobody else that I know. And I was kind of hesitant about it. But then he goes, I'm at the place I always am. We can meet at my house. We were like, no, that's okay. No house needed. We'll just meet you at the corner, because we're literally right over there. So we go. We have the best interview with this guy. It's completely awesome. He has this amazing story, and we're like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be so good. So we're like, it's time to go home. So being intelligent, I've been in a lot of Ubers, and I can go into my Uber stories in some other video, but I've had some weird, crazy Ubers, and so I feel like I've seen it all, so I'm like, I'll order the Uber, I know how to do this, we're good. They have this thing in Seattle, and I don't know if they have it in bigger cities, I'm sure they do, but it's basically like a carpool Uber. Basically, you meet, you're supposed to walk to one destination, the Uber driver will pick you up, and then there's other people in the car, and other people get dropped off at different areas, and so on and so forth. So we were like, perfect. So we take a little bit to find this area that we want to go to, because again, we're in a city we don't know. We finally get there, and it takes us about 40 minutes to realize that I had put in the wrong hotel. And yes, we were 45 minutes away from our original hotel. And this would be completely fine if we were just tourists in Seattle, just having a good time. No, we had supervised edit in an hour and a half. We had places to be and things to see, and we were going to be late. It's okay, we can calm down, we can still get there in time. We might just be 15 minutes late, which is perfectly fine. We just got to get there as soon as we can. We order the next Uber. And like I said, we're in a city we don't know, okay? I don't know where this bank is. I don't know where this corner is. Things are all confusing. I barely even know where I live, let alone, a city thousands of miles away. So we ended up taking so long to find the location, we missed the Uber. Which is okay. It was okay. It wasn't that big of a deal. It was 5 or 10 minutes wasted. But then we finally get this Uber, and this guy is he's like, I'm 17 minutes away. I'm like, 17 minutes away, that's a long time, but I get, if that's the closest one, we better just order it right now and go for it, and we'll be okay. So about 15 minutes goes by before this guy decides to cancel on us. We really thought that we were just gonna go ahead and just bike home. By the way, short story, there's these things called Lime bikes in Seattle, and I'm sure they have them other places. Like I said, I'm just very desensitized to the Midwest. I would like bike in the morning to go and get coffee, and then like I would listen to Billie Eilish's new album because it had just come out that day, and I was like riding my bike to the coffee shop, and I actually got my headphones stuck in the bike, which was kind of funny, and the wire was like stripped all the way down, and I left them in there because I was like, I'm not about to get electrocuted. I ended up having to bike to Target and get new headphones that day. Pretty funny, but we were like, let's just bike home. But no, luckily this guy pulled through. But that's not the end of the story. We finally get into the supervised edit room. We're on time. We're doing good. We plug in the camera. We're like, we're about to make the best story ever. We have the best interview. And yeah, we went through some bumps in the road, but it's okay. We're all good now. We go to edit the footage, and lo and behold, would have you guessed it, we didn't plug the mic in. The only footage we had of this guy talking was from what's called a mic check. Basically, you plug the mic in, you ask, say your name and spell it. They do, and then this guy decided to like go on a little tangent. Thank God. But then you unplug the mic, you listen to it, and then you plug it back in. Well, we had not plugged it back in, so all we had was like 15 seconds of this guy talking about his first name. So we ended up doing a story all about his first name and how it was only Ito, how it was only Ito and he had no last name. So we actually pulled through in the end, and we didn't get that bad of a score, so that was pretty good. But if you guys like this video about all my crazy stories in Seattle, please like and subscribe down below. And yeah, I will see you guys next time I see you. Bye.